One of the things in being successful in this world it's not negative, but it might sound negative to some individuals. It has to do with anticipating negative forces. Because whenever you get ready to build something, you have to realize if you ever do anything positive in this world, you're going to have demonic or satanic opposition. If you try to build a strong marriage, you're going to have things that will work against your marriage. If you try to raise positive, healthy children, you're going to have things that are going to try to pull your children away and mess them up. Anytime that you do anything positive in this world in which we live, you're going to receive demonic opposition. Your life will come through periods and times of satanic attack. And so I don't want anybody to be unwise concerning these attacks, but I want you to know that the Lord is with you even in the midst of the attack. And whenever your life comes under attack, it will appear as though time stands still. If you're in a struggle, it looks like it will never get out. It's like, Lord, when on earth is this going to be finished? When am I going to get through this? It looks like everything goes in slow motion. When you are really honestly waiting on this thing, and you notice that it talks about Jesus being a good shepherd and a shepherd, how they lead their sheep. You see, one of the reasons that he point this out, because in Eastern culture, where shepherds would have their flock, it was not uncommon for several different shepherds to be traveling with their own sheep, their own flock of sheep. And sometimes they would come to places and all of the sheep would blend in together. That shepherd simply had to talk because the sheep knew his voice. All of them looked alike, so you couldn't exactly just look at them and say, oh, this one is mine, that one is mine, this one is mine over here. No, when they would hear their shepherd's voice, that gave them clues to let them know that this was their shepherd and they needed to follow him. One of the reasons that I don't ever want to get too big as a pastor to come down and touch the members of the church is because I'm a shepherd. And a shepherd has to run his hands through the wool of the sheep. One of the things that he is doing when he runs his hands through the wool of the sheep is that he is scenting the sheep. In other words, he comes close enough to them because animals have a keen sense of smell. And they begin to learn the smell of the shepherd. So even when Jesus is close to you and you don't hear anything from him, you ought to be able to, you can sense him even when you can't see him. Are you listening to me? You ought to be able to come into some positions in your life where you can sense him and just say, I know I'm smelling the sweet presence of God. I don't literally see him, but I sense that he's here. I sense that he is near. And there's a comfort that comes in just being able to sense that he is there. And so these sheep that are following their shepherd, they could actually recognize his smell and they would follow him, but they also knew his voice and he would make noise as he would be going through. And oftentimes, as we do with pets, we name them. We give them names. And so whenever he would call them by name, they would recognize the voice of their shepherd, and a stranger they wouldn't follow.